What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Morning Brew podcast. I'm your host, Kayla, and I interview musicians, creators, and other cool people, posting every other Friday. Before we jump in, it would mean the world to me if you would follow our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're also on Instagram at the Morning Brew Podcast. Today, I am joined by my friend Daniel, and we are going over his project, The Storyteller. Grab your brew of choice and get ready to face your fears. What is up, guys? Daniel, long time no see. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
And we're here with Igor, Daniel's cat.
Yes, Igor is the more important guest, to be honest.
Oh, he's so cute. So we know each other because we met at the wedding of a mutual friend last year. But that being said, I don't actually know a whole lot about you. So I'm really excited for this interview. And I'd love to hear some more about you first. So where are you from and when did you get into music?
Yeah, so I live out in the Bay Area in California, in a town called Pleasanton. So it's a little bit outside of San Francisco. And for me, music kind of started, I don't remember, I must have been 7 years old. And my brother got, someone like let him have his Xbox 360 with Guitar Hero on it. And I was like obsessed with Guitar Hero. And then that got my brother obsessed, and so he bought Rock Band. And the whole thing growing up was I was not allowed to play the Rock Band drums because I'm like a lot younger than my brother, so I was probably
Okay.
8, 16. And so he's like, "No, I don't want you to break my drums." And so the thing about being younger than your brother is you get home from school earlier than your than they do. So I would get home and he's still at school, and I'd sneak onto his Rock Band drum set and I'd play the drums. And it got to the point where I was way better than him at Rock Band drums. And through Rock Band drums, I convinced my parents to let me take actual drum lessons and started doing that. And so, honestly, the rest of it, learning how to sing, learning how to rap, learning how to produce, all that, it, I couldn't even tell you the when or the where or the how. It just like happened naturally out of drums. But drums were my first love. Drums were the first thing I ever understood.
Yeah, and we kind of have that in common because I play the drums too, not as well, but I teach myself and I just feel like that one is easier to learn than other instruments, partially because I
Yeah,
can't
if you
read
have
music.
natural rhythm, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it just
You
makes
can't
the
help it.
most sense to me. I don't know. So do you have a pivotal moment in your life when you realized that music just wasn't an interest, but it was something that you wanted to do?
Yeah, so back in high school, I started a band with some of my best friends, um, and it wasn't like I set out to start a band. It was more I was kind of writing these lyrics without ever intending to make them a song or anything. And one of my buddies, I don't know what he was doing on my phone, but he was on my phone and he saw my lyrics and was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Hey, chill, like don't look at that. It's not for you." But he was like, "No, we should make this a song." And so even from that point, it was just like it was fun. I didn't even really think about the fact that like I was singing my diary to people when we played shows. Like I just didn't even process that it was vulnerable until like I would say the moment it clicked was after a show, this like total stranger never met in my life like came up to me just like bawling, and I was like, gosh, did I offend this person? Like what did I do wrong? Like again, zero cognitive awareness of what I was doing as a musician, right? And she walks up to me, she's sobbing, and she's just like, I've never heard someone explain how I felt that way. And she's like, you've given me so much like hope through what you said. And I was like, I literally had to like after she walked away, I was like, "Oh, thank you, blah blah blah." She walked away. I was like, "What did I say? Like, what did I do that did
Which
that?"
song were you
And then I
talking
go back and look at my lyrics, and I'm like, "Oh, these are like really vulnerable things I'm saying." Like I don't know what was wrong with me. It didn't click what I was doing. But I think from that moment, it was like everything I did was with that intention now. It was like there's power to this that I'm like wasting it if I'm not using it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And music is such an interesting thing, and I know we'll probably dive into this a little more later in the interview, but it's like such a thing that connects people.
Yeah.
And people can hear the music and understand that I'm not the only person that feels this way. That's crazy and that's so powerful.
For sure. I mean, I'm sure that's what it's done for you. That's what it's done for me.
Yeah,
And so
definitely.
it wasn't like sometimes I tell this story and I skip a couple steps and people ask like, how'd you get into music? I'm like, oh, music did this for me, so I wanted to do it for other people. It's like, it was more that I started doing it and I started doing it for other people and I was like, oh, like that's really cool. Like I didn't even think about that. And then it became, all right, let's keep doing it for other people. Like it's so powerful.
Yeah, definitely. It's so sick. And we're here today to talk about your new project, The Storyteller. So, what can you tell me about this project and sort of the concept behind it?
Yeah, so the storyteller is this character I've had in my head for a long time. I don't really view the storyteller as myself necessarily, but as this other character who he's kind of just a reflection of human tragedy, I guess. Like it's an obsession with reflecting tragedy in everything he touches. And so kind of the whole drive with this project is that I'm gonna tell my story pretty explicitly and pretty clearly, but in a way where I want it to feel like I'm telling everyone's story. Like we all, so I would say the only thing that every human being on earth is connected by is tragedy and grief. It's like the one thing that everyone will have. Not everyone will experience even like the comfort of sitting in a home like I'm in right now, but everyone will experience tragedy and grief.
That's so
And
true.
so, for whatever reason, some people, when they hear things have like songs about tragedy and grief, they're like, "Oh, go write something happy," or "Oh, like I don't want anything to do with that." But it's like, I know you know what I'm talking about, though. Like I know you felt this, unless maybe you're like denying it of yourself. And so, really, with this character, with this project, I'm trying to just tell stories about tragedy um, in a way where anyone can hear it and be like, "That's me. That's my story." Even if it's not, it is. You know?
Yeah, and that's like really relatable too because, I think even like with big artists like Billie Eilish, right? Like people tell her all the time like, "Hey, why are your songs so fucking sad?" And she's
Yeah.
like, "Because that's what I know." Like
Yeah.
I'm not happy, so why would I write about something that I don't feel? And I think that's just really interesting. And so I'm curious too. So when you're performing as a storyteller, you wear this mask. Can you tell me more about like this mask and like what it symbolizes and how you came up with that?
Yeah, so it's a Shakespearean tragedy mask. And there's this thing that happens when I put it on that I didn't expect, but it's like it focuses me so much on what the intention is of what I'm doing, right? It's that music for me, like ever since I started writing lyrics, even when I didn't know they were gonna actually become songs, it was just I'm feeling a certain way. That certain way is not great, and so I'm gonna put it here because I don't know where else to put it. Like when I'm happy, I know where to put that. I know how to handle that. I know how to carry it because it's light. It's easy to carry
Yeah.
happiness. But weightiness and heaviness and like when you're just going through it, it's heavy. It's not easy to carry it. So I'm gonna put that here. And one of the things I wanted to do with the mask and why I chose the Shakespearean tragedy mask was like when you see that mask pop up on stage in a play and whatever, like you see that and you're like, that's where I'm supposed to put my own tragedy in the story. Like that's where the tragedy goes. And so I want people who look at this character to like, even if it's just subliminal or subconscious, to realize like I can put my tragedy here too. Like whatever it is that I have, that's the character that symbolizes all of the whatever I need to get rid of and put somewhere. So it's putting a face to that spot you can put it.
That makes a lot of sense. And so if you do like live shows, are you intending to like wear that while you're performing?
For as long as I can, yeah. I
Yeah,
I
I feel
say
like it
that
gets hot.
because the mask, it's got a little bit of cushion, but it really puts a lot of pressure right on the
Oh
bridge of my
shit.
nose. And so I do these live streams with it and I like play on TikTok and I only last like 4 songs. Then I'm like, all right, it's gone. The mask is gone. So like I love how it would look visually on stage, but I also just there's no way I could do it for like an hour set.
No, I feel that. Maybe we could figure out a way to adapt it so it's easier to wear.
Yeah, I got to get some more cushions in there or something.
Oh,
For
that's so
sure.
funny. So you very awesomely shared with me your whole album ahead of time. And so I
Yeah.
did a whole listen through the other night, and first of all, it was fucking awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Second of all, the whole time I was listening, I was kind of feeling this is like an imagery that I had, but I kind of felt like the storyteller as a character was almost like forcing, like holding up a mirror to myself, where I was like forced to be introspective about things that maybe I don't want to like think about, you know? Is
Yeah.
that something that you were kind of wanting to happen?
It's like I feel like you're buttering me up right now. Like that is that is all I've ever wanted to hear and more. Is that's exactly it. I know so many people who are so scared to do that. And obviously I'm it's not natural for me either necessarily. It's not comfortable to do that. But just through time in therapy, through time in, just as I've wrestled with what's in my own head and had to face it on, there's so much value in it that I really do want every song I create to have that effect of like, if you're gonna choose to hit play on this song, you're gonna have to like bring yourself to the song. You're gonna have to you're bringing something to the table too by choosing just to listen
Hmm.
to it. So I love that you felt that way because that's a huge part of this project. And even further, like the theme of this album is fear. And what I'm kind of calling into question is we have this idea of fear. Like if you describe fear, the instant feeling you get is negative. It's a negative emotion.
Yeah.
It's something like if your friend's feeling afraid, what do you say? You said, "Oh, you don't have to be scared." But like kind of what I'm calling into question is like, is fear actually a negative emotion at all? Or is it something that we have within us because we're supposed to feel it sometimes? And so right out the gate, this whole record is like, should I be afraid? Or should I not? And some people don't like feeling afraid because it doesn't feel good.
Hmm.
But I would say probably you're supposed to. And so, yeah, in every single way, when you turn on this record, I want you to be kind of having to reconcile your ideas about yourself and how you think and what you feel, and bring all of that to the table when you're hearing what I'm doing.
I think you totally accomplished that. And like just to clarify for everybody listening, right? Like you didn't give me any context before. You sent me the
Yeah,
Dropbox file and then I had whatever was on your website to go off of and like a few little clips from Instagram of what is like, available to the public currently. So
cool.
like this sensation that I had was like totally independent of anything that you could have like fed me beforehand, like this was a feeling that came naturally from listening to what you were saying, which was really cool because I enjoy when music does that. I think that's interesting. But yeah, that being said, can we talk about Afraid of the Day? Because
Yes.
I did read the little excerpt on that after I listened to it, and I was like, shit, that's so real. Like, hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah. So that track is about the way our fear grows up with us, and just the way that it changes. And like for me, I've probably told this story too many times now, but who cares? I like growing up, I was terrified of the dark. I remember there was a time where my brother had his friends over, and they were watching The Grudge, the horror movie The Grudge. It's the one where like the creepy person's all like, ah. Um, I remember it vividly because no one knew I was behind the couch peeking around watching the movie, like
Oh no.
late at night while my brother and all his friends watched it. And from that moment on, I was terrified of the dark. Could not do the dark. I had this like massive Batman nightlight in my room. That was like it's like dang near young Daniel sized, and he just hung on my wall. Like my room was illuminated because I
That's
couldn't do it.
incredible.
But like, kind of that song's about like wasn't it so much simpler when that's what we were afraid of? The
Yeah.
dark and what we don't know and don't understand. But now it's like we're so scared of really ourselves that we're like scared to have an awkward phone call. Or we're like scared to like be around people at work because what if they don't perceive me the way I want to be perceived? Or we're like we have constant fear as we've grown up. Versus like when I was a kid, I only had to be scared when the light switch turned off. And how much fear is good fear, what type of fear is good fear, and do I even actually want to be okay with some fear? I don't know, and that's kind of what the song's asking.
Yeah, and that like makes so much sense, right? Because in the little like excerpt that you were talking about, you're like, man, now I got to think about like taxes and like what am I gonna, dude? Someone said to me, I have to think about what to make, like what is for dinner every day until I die. I don't want
Yeah,
to think about that, dude. I don't want
it's
to
so
plan what
real.
I'm supposed to eat every day for the rest of my fucking life. That's crazy. Like, yeah, no, you really nailed it because, like, today as an adult, like, I look forward to when it's night because the lights go off. I can go in my little cozy bed and go into my mind and not think about the responsibilities that I have to face when the sun comes up. So,
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And it's like
afraid of the day
it
indeed.
takes away from the human experience, doesn't it? Like we're so bogged down by work and money and like obviously our social life is a good thing, but it becomes like a we hold on to it so tightly and dearly that it becomes something we're afraid of losing too. Like that fear, it takes away so many things that it just doesn't belong as a part of that we lose so much of the human experience in it. Like, why can't I be my friends without worrying about how they perceive me? Why can't I go and be at work, which is where I'm supposed to find purpose, and A, either actually find purpose or B, like find purpose without worrying about doing a good enough job or being good enough or am I good enough or like it's that we're constantly afraid and the people who don't feel like they're constantly afraid are just lying to themselves about it. There's
Oh,
no
totally.
escaping it now, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And so you just dropped Relate today, right?
Yeah,
So
correct.
that one, I have to tell you a story about when I was listening to this, right? So I was packing for this wedding while I was listening to your album. So I have it on like in the background, but I'm still like listening. I'm just also doing stuff. And you
Right.
dropped some lyrics that were so like deep that I stopped in my tracks and I said, "Oh shit." And I had to go back cuz I was like, "No fucking way you said that."
The
And
ultimate compliment, by the way. Like as a
I
lyricist, that is all I've ever wanted.
I wrote it down cuz I'm like, we're going to dive into this. We're going to break this down. So,
Yeah,
and also I don't have the lyric sheet, so I might get these a little bit wrong, but you
you're good.
said in your song Relate, you said, "I wish I just act like I'm happy. Wish I didn't hate everything. Life isn't a dream. It's a story that's forming, and every story's told with some pain, so everyone can relate. I wish you didn't relate."
Yeah.
That's deep shit, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I so it's fun. This song, I have such an interesting relationship with this song because when I originally wrote it, it was to go on a record that I ended up scrapping. And that meant for years I thought the song was scrapped. And it was just like for me, I have like literally, I think if I checked my, let's do it right now. Hold on. How many songs do I have written in my phone? Which most of these will never see the light of day. I
Yo, that's
have
crazy because I always want to write a song and then I can't think of shit when it comes to trying to write it out.
I have 1,528. That's in my folder
Bruh.
that says complete. That's how many completed lyrical songs I have written down. So you can imagine that that void, nothing really makes it out of that void unless it's
Yeah.
really right. And so this song was just like I wrote it all that time ago. I wasn't happy with it. I couldn't finish it. Like it just wasn't happening anymore. And then that was like 4+ years ago. And as I'm working on this record, I literally like I was kind of humming it in the studio, like, what is that melody? I wrote this song. I don't think I ever released it. What is that melody? I found the file again and was just like, whoa, this like fits perfectly. And so that bridge is one of two sections that I added now to that song that I
Mhm.
started forever ago. And it was like that bridge was me figuring out the part of the song I couldn't figure out this whole time, which is why does this song matter? I remember like part of the reason I scrapped that project and that song specifically was it felt like I was just complaining and I didn't have a reason to complain. Like I was just like upset at people and I was like, yeah, the end. Like there was no moral, there was no
You
like
tell them.
yeah, like it just didn't go anywhere, right? It was self-indulgent commiserating and that's it. And when I wrote that bridge, it was like I'm angry because I know that they know what I'm talking about and they're just pretending they don't. Like every story literally needs what I'm sharing in this song and all my music. And so why are you pretending you don't relate? Like I know you do. So yeah, I'm glad you brought up that bridge because that is some of my favorite lyrics I've put on the record. But I don't know. I think just the fact it took me 4 years to find them is so crazy. Like I didn't know the point of the song for 4 years, and then I found the point, and I was like, oh, I can release it now.
No, I totally get that with like other things. I start like a painting and I'm like, nah, whatever, and I leave it for like 4 years and then I realize it was supposed to be something else and then I'll finish it. But
Mm,
no, that definitely makes sense. And I think it's so interesting to even think of like the flip side because the people that aren't pretending they don't get it, like the people that are like, oh man, I feel that, you know? And then you hit them with, I wish you didn't understand. Like, I wish
yeah.
that wasn't something that's relatable to you. But even that as a thing is relatable, right? Because if I'm talking about something like deeply personal about like depression or something, and someone I know genuinely like also has that problem, I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I wish you didn't relate to that, because like you say in the song, like maybe the world would be a little bit better if people didn't relate to it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it's funny because I go from I'm angry at people for claiming they don't relate, and then I'm like, for the ones willing to admit it, like sucks, bro. Like, sorry.
Sucks. Get in
Like
line.
I'm yelling at some people for like, why aren't you just relating with me? I know you can, and then the people who do, I'm like, man, I wish you didn't have to.
Yeah.
Like you're actually nice enough. Like like there's a certain self awareness that comes with like a humility maybe even to listen to my music. You have to be willing to say like, yeah, I've got issues too. um so for the people who don't, I'm kind of like, why do you think you're better than me? Like you're not. We're not. We're all
You
the
think you
same.
don't got issues? Don't lie.
And then I'm much kinder to the people where it's like, yeah, I messed up too. I'm like, oh, word. Like I can resonate with that. Like we're on the same page now,
I think that's where your fan base is gonna end up being, is the people that do relate. And like I just picture like you're performing this, and there's gonna be like a whole crowd of like misfits and just people that feel that, and they're gonna be like ugly crying, singing back to you, I wish you didn't
Dream.
relate. I envision this for you.
Oh, I love it. The only problem is that if I like, I don't know if you've heard of sympathetic criers, but if I see a single person almost cry in the
Or
audience,
are
the
you gonna
show's
sob?
it's
That's
gonna
okay,
be
bro. The mask is on.
yeah, that's what the mask is for. Exactly.
The mask is
That's
actually
why I
gonna go
need
through
it.
my tears.
Oh, that would get so bad so quick.
No,
If I was,
I'm a sympathetic crier too. I'm gonna be cooked at the wedding tomorrow, bro. I'm
oh
gone.
man, weddings will do that.
So you promoted this song Relate as a song for anyone who's ever had music or a song save their life.
Yeah.
And that's like also super relatable. And so I'm curious, if you're okay getting deep, what song or music saved you?
So many. But the one that instantly comes to my head is a song called "Addict with a Pen" by 21 Pilots. It was on their self-titled record, and this song is like, you listen to it and it's pretty hopeless. Like it's not, when you talk about songs that saved your life, you assume there's some like, and this is how we survive in it. And this song's not like that at all. He's like basically just crying out for help and then saying, I've like screwed my life up. And then he's like, the whole addict with a pen line is like, he knows he's struggling to stay alive, and the only thing that's keeping him alive is this addiction to writing about it. And I just remember like that song was one of the first songs where it felt like I was hearing words I could have written. Like it was just so precise to who I was. I was like, oh my gosh, there's another person like me out there. So then I look up, this guy is older than me. He's alive still. He's surviving. He's happier. He's gotten through that and he's made it to the next thing. And that element of it was so inspiring that I just remember like that song, the hope that came from it wasn't the song itself. It was that the song was so hopeless and it didn't matter how hopeless he was, that he still made it. That was just so powerful for me. And then that song for a long time was like when I needed a second to just let stuff out, I'd go in the car, turn it up, go for a drive, scream and ugly cry it for like 10
Nerd.
minutes, and then go wherever I was going and chill out and be like, okay, got it out of my system. We're good now. Like that song, like if I could really claim a single song saved my life, it would have to be that one.
It hits
I love
so
that song.
hard. And I kind of spoiled it already, but you have an album coming out later this year. Can you say anything about that? Do you have any like teasers? What can people expect from this album?
It's interesting. The album's called Fear, and I've been reflecting a lot on just my journey as a musician. I was in a band, and then I released music under just my own name, and then now I'm here with this new thing. And something I've realized is that I don't think I've been afraid of a release since the very first one, like that first album. I just remember the day before, I had that similar revelation I talked about earlier. The day before was like, everyone I've ever met is about to be able to hear everything I've ever felt in their ears.
Yeah.
And that was terrifying, right? I've just never like, it was this weird moment, like too late to stop it. The train's going.
It's there.
Anyone's gonna be able to hear whatever they want about me. And I feel that way about this album, is that when this record drops, like obviously I'm gonna be stoked it's out there and the world can hear it, but I'm also like it's vulnerable in a way that is a little uncomfy again. It's definitely
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I've gone to places that for years, like literally since 2018, I have not felt willing to go. And so it is pretty open and honest and vulnerable. And yeah, I'm really curious to see what people think of it because it's also like you take that emotion out of it. Just technically speaking, it's my proudest work I've done. Like I feel like the sound is a lot more polished and refined than I've been ever. So I'm like really excited. If there's a way I could show people the production and not the lyrics, I wouldn't be afraid of it. I'd be like, yeah, check this out. Like this is so sick. But you kind of need the words for it to work. And so I'm like, I definitely, as like much as I'm pushing it and I'm excited for it and I need the world to hear it, I'm also like, it's not the worst thing if no one hears it. Like it's this weird little,
It's scary to put,
yeah.
a different side of you out so publicly and openly for, I feel like it's almost easier for strangers to hear it. Do you feel similarly?
100%. Something I just posted last night or this morning maybe, when I was talking about relate was like, I wish that I didn't tell my friends and family I did music. Like I wish that only the people who don't know me knew what I was up to because they have no idea who I am outside of this. But there's even a line on the album actually where I address that where I say like it's on the track, the interlude called Just Learning. There's a line where I say like something about I send my friends a song to see what they think and I forget what the words are. And then now they're worried if I'm okay or not. And it's like, oh, I didn't even think that through. Like, man, dang it.
No, that's so
It's
fair.
a
I was
weird
just telling my friend that, or something similar, where I was like, oh, when you meet like a new group of people and you don't quite know their sense of humor, and so I maybe drop a joke that's like a little bit too dark, and they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, yo, you
it's
were
like,
meant to laugh. Like, it was
yeah.
funny. I promise. I'm good. Like, don't worry about it.
What, if we can't laugh about it, what can I do about it? Like you gotta laugh at stuff like
Exactly.
that sometimes. Yeah.
No, but that brings up a good point, right? Because you independently recorded and like produced and like did everything for all of these songs, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I have
That's
a buddy of mine,
crazy.
Giovanni, who he engineers them, so he mixes and masters. But
Mhm.
I'm really pretentious about I want every sound you hear to be my hands or my voice. Whether it's the drums, the synths, the vocals, whatever, like I want it to come from me. Just so there's that singular emotion behind it. I'm probably more pretentious about that than I should be, but it matters a lot to me.
No, I think that's really cool. Is there like one song off the record that you're like the most proud of?
It's hard. It's hard. There's certain ones I'm proud of in different ways. Like I think my favorite production on the album is probably there's a song called "Why I Hate the Rain" where I just really wanted to produce. I was like, what if The Weeknd was more sad? Was kind of the pitch that I had for myself. I was like, what if he was like a little edgier and a little sadder? Like, what would that sound like if you lean a little more alternative? And emo. And so I think my like that one just pushed me creatively into a realm I'd never gone to before. It was kind of interesting. There's a song called Beauty in the End that I don't want to talk too much about, but it's like such a cinematic moment that happens in that song that that was almost not going to be on the album. It was going to be for a different project. And I was like, if I'm going to do a debut album, like this needs to be the climax of the record. It's just I'm too proud of how that moment happens to not make it the climax of the album. But then there's like I've got like three favorites, so we walked through two of them. One more, which is Life After Death. I think in terms of lyrics and vulnerability and story is a song that I keep coming back to. Like I can't believe I wrote that, and I can't believe I'm letting people hear it. It's just like so vulnerable. That's probably the song that scares me the most too. Being out there is that song because it's just really open and honest and I still to this day struggle to sing that song without crying. I've done it on live stream a couple times, and each time it's rough. I remember that I'd rewritten that song like 8 times because I wanted it to work so bad, but I literally the only thing holding me back was I didn't want to go there, and so I remember finally I was sitting at the piano and I was tracking a demo for it, and I finally was just like, if you're gonna do this song, you need to go there. You need to just literally go to the place you're so scared of going, because that's the whole point of your damn album. Like, if you can't do that, then you're a fraud. And by the end of the song, I have a picture on my phone of it. The piano keys were covered in tears, and I've
You
never
gotta
had that
send me
happen.
this picture, bro.
Never, I will. I've never in my life written a song and like played it for I've never cried to a demo before. That doesn't like that's not normal. I don't know what to tell you. That just isn't me, really. But like I didn't even know I was crying until I like stopped and I was like, why are my hands wet? And I'm like,
Why is this wet?
like, whoa, dang, it was all over the piano. And I was like, okay, I think I probably found the song.
I
That's
think you'd be
probably a
right.
good Um, so I don't know. There's so much I'm proud of on this record that I feel like I've taken everything I've done as an artist for the last since I don't do math very well. It's 2018. What is that?
I don't
7
do
years?
math on weekends, dude.
Yeah, same. Is it a weekend? It's Friday. There you go.
Oh, close
It is
enough.
kind of a weekend. Like it's basically the weekend.
It's pretty much right.
So 7 years, I feel like the last 7 years has just been preparing me for how do I go to that place again where I'm afraid and make it count. Because I think if I had all this knowledge and I was still making music like I had in between, it would have been for nothing. Now it's like, okay, I've got the knowledge. Now let's go to that place again and let's release it this time. So it feels like the timing was right. In a
Yeah,
weird.
I feel like you do go through like a little journey. Like I listened to it top to bottom, and like I don't know if this makes sense, but like if you listen to like the entire soundtrack of like Hamilton or something, and like it starts off really like energetic and like in your face, and then by the end you're like a little bit sad and you don't know why. Like
Yeah.
it gave me that exact feeling, and I was like, why am I sad? But like I couldn't like pinpoint it, but I was like, I'm feeling feelings, and I don't know why.
You're saying all the right things. You're saying all the things I want people who listen to the record to say. And
Oh,
that's
good.
that's so it. You kind of from that opening track, the storyteller character, he's pretty cocky actually. The first time like he literally does the whole Jay-Z allow me to reintroduce myself, like I mimic the line right out the gate, like allow me to introduce myself, I'm the blah blah blah, like I kind of come in really cocky. And then by the end of the record, I don't sound like I have an ounce of confidence in me anymore. And that's very intentional. The vocal performance as you go through the record becomes more and more defeated. And it's maybe defeats the wrong word. I think it's how I want you to feel, but I actually think that defeat and acceptance are really similar emotions, and kind of what I'm aiming for is an acceptance of circumstance. And so kind of as you work your way down the album, it's like it becomes more honest inch by inch by inch by inch. And so I love that that was tangible. I want to interview you. You heard my album and not many people have. What song jumped out at you the most? What one like do you
Oh,
have like a track that was your favorite or that stuck with you?
I mean, Afraid of the Day was the first one that I was listening to, and I was like, oh shit, that kind of slaps. But Relate is the one that really, like, I mean, like I told you, right? Like, that stopped me in my tracks. I was like, wait, run that back.
Yeah.
What? And then I was like, damn, that hit hard. Like, I texted a friend about it. I was like, bro, I think my life just changed. Like, someone just made me think about something that I didn't want to think about.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I chose good singles then. That's good.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I thought the whole thing was really good, and then I know like we're not gonna talk about the end, but I was like, damn, okay, like we got something cooking here.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm excited for people to hear it.
Yeah, me too. I'm curious. We'll see how people feel about that ending. I don't know what to expect from that.
Expect a
To be
bunch of
honest, that
DMs.
could go either way.
Nah, I think it'll be good. And so we do a segment on here. I do a segment on here called Artists Asking Artists. So the last guest that I had on my show, her name's Mickey. She's from a really cool band called Mickey and the Doom. And she would like to know, do you have any pre-show superstitions or things that you feel like you have to do in order to have like a good performance?
That is a fantastic question. I I'm trying to think of what I can say that's not too embarrassing. 'Cause I have some embarrassing ones that I just don't know if this is the right setting to talk about. Uh, but one of the things that I do before a show, it's probably the last thing a vocal teacher would tell you to do, is I go somewhere and I scream bloody murder.
Oh, really?
Like right before I go on stage, I probably trash my vocal cords to be honest, but I feel like it gets my body where it needs to be. Like, and it's not like some people will scream because it's like, all right, get the fear out or whatever. It's not even a nerves thing. It's like I I feel I'm starting to psychoanalyze myself as I've never said this to anyone. I've never shared this with anyone. I'm processing it as I tell you that I wonder if part of it's like I'm about to say some stuff that I don't really actually want to say. I'm going to tell people my story in a way that's really vulnerable. So let's just like let out this primal expression of all of it. And then it makes it easier to go do the harder one, which is the words, maybe. I don't know. But that's probably the one that's most tame to share on the internet. I don't know how much of the other ones I can share. Um, yeah, we'll leave it at that one. I
No,
scream really loud.
that makes, I'm like super superstitious for no reason. Like if I have an interview with someone in the works and I'm like real excited about it, I am like bound by a mental NDA. I'm like, I can't speak a word of this to
Mm,
anyone until it has been recorded and saved to like 4 hard drives. Like if I speak about it before, I feel like it'll fall through.
that makes sense. That's interesting.
I don't know.
That makes
That's my weird one. But anyways,
yeah.
now you get to ask a question for my next guest. You could ask
Ooh,
anything you want.
ooh, anything I want. Okay, can I know the question.
I'm
It has
ready.
nothing to do with like music or anything,
Oh,
and that's
that's
fine.
fine.
I want to know what their second favorite cereal is. And the rule is they cannot even allude to their first favorite. I don't care at all about their first favorite. No one wants
Okay.
to know their first favorite. I want to know what their
Mhm.
second favorite cereal is.
That's crazy.
I
That's
true
also
story.
awesome.
I This was like my I'm like I can be socially awkward sometimes or maybe it's just that sometimes like socially I don't like small talk. I just
I
don't
don't
care.
either. I
It's
think
hard
it's
for me to
boring. I
care
don't care
about
what
it.
your favorite color is.
And so I was like, what's something that's like really like it's out there enough that I would enjoy small talk? And so I started just whenever I was like at a party or I was hanging out with people, I would ask them, what's your second favorite cereal? Because it like throws them off. They're like, what the heck is that? That's weird. And it was just fun. And I told my buddy that question. Like I asked it to him. He's like, that's genius. And then he goes and he goes on Tinder and he's like, bro, I use that as my opening line on Tinder. He's like, I get a date
Stop.
every time I use it. And
Oh
I was
my
like, you're
god.
telling me all these years of loneliness, I had the secret sauce and I didn't know? Like you're telling me
It
that
was that
that
easy?
stupid question was the way and I didn't know? I was so mad.
Oh,
But
that's insane. The question that I've been asking people on here sometimes is which M&M is the sexiest, like the candy M&M characters?
mm,
And it stumps a lot of people, but the heated debate is currently between green and brown.
tell me why I was gonna say green.
Because green is hot.
I'll be honest, I don't even like I can't picture the green M&M. Like I can't picture what they look like in my head. I
I'll
would have
send
to
you a
like
photo after.
look. Yeah, I know they have like character, right? Like they do
Yeah.
look different. They have different vibes. But like something about in my head, I'm like I think the answer's green. Like I just in my soul knows even though my mind does not.
The
It's
heart
really weird.
says the green M&M.
Yeah. It feels right. I don't know why.
Incredible. Well, to wrap this up, then, the last question that's kind of not a question. This is your chance for shameless self promo. So, anything you want to promote, where can people find you? Where can people follow you? Drop it all right here. The floor is yours.
Beautiful. Everything you've ever wanted and needed and more for your soul to find fulfillment is at sotellthestory.com. We've got merch, you've got all my links to everything, you've got email list. Hop on there so you can know what I'm up to. And I've also just rolled out something that I call the next chapter. $5 a month, weekly exclusive content, and your $5 a month is always redeemable in my merch store. So you can get your money right back if you buy merch.
Oh, sick.
Um, Super excited about that. The biggest thing I've been doing on there that I'm really excited about is when I'm songwriting, I do what I call a first attempt demo, which is the second I have even a semblance of a melody, I will just in one go try and make a song. And I'm posting one of those every single month on here where you're hearing me kind of songwrite in the moment and see what sticks and see what doesn't and decompress it. So But there's other cool stuff in there too. So tellthestory.com. Hang with me there. And then there's links to my everything on my Instagram, my TikTok, my Discord, whatever the hell else there is. I don't even know. I'm sure I'm somewhere else. But yeah, I think I felt more shameful than shameless. I kind of feel embarrassed, but just kidding.
Well, where can we listen to your music? That's the important question.
Everywhere. Just find me, The Storyteller. I'm on Spotify,
Hell
Apple.
yeah.
I'm gonna be don't tell anyone, but I'm gonna be releasing vinyl pre-orders soon. So if you got a record player, I've never done vinyl. The dream has always been vinyl, and it's happening. So go follow me somewhere so you can find out when to buy my vinyl. That's what you should do.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Daniel. This has been so fun. I've loved hearing about all the stories behind everything.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I say this to every time I do one of these, like, thank you for creating a space, because like for artists, big artists, small artists, whatever, there's not many spaces for us to just talk about what we've created in a way that's open and honest and authentic. And so like what you're doing, it creates a space for people who want more than anything else to be seen and heard and understood in their art. And so thank you for doing what you do and creating that space for us to be seen and heard and understood.
Oh,
It means
thank you.
so much more than you know.
That's the goal. That's the goal. I love asking questions. The whole point is I like to ask questions. That's all for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend, and be sure to follow the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so you don't miss any new interviews. Until next time, check out the Storyteller's music and stay tuned for the album to come.